The navel and chapped lips. Sounds kind of weird, right? Like a totally random combination. But stick with me here, because this really simple story holds an incredibly powerful lesson about how we solve problems. Or, maybe how we should be solving them.
So what we're looking at here is a simple phrase: a common problem, a unique solution. It's a little mysterious, isn't it? We're going to use a super common, everyday annoyance to unlock a completely different way of thinking about fixes that actually truly last.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, a common problem. Before we get to the wild solution, we have to start with something that, well, we can all relate to, something we instantly recognize.
The source material just puts it so perfectly. Winter came and lips chapped. We've all been there. That dry, peeling, super uncomfortable feeling that has you scrambling for some kind of relief, right? It's the classic symptom that just screams for a quick fix.
So, when you're faced with this problem, what do most of us do? What does the world tell us to do? Well, that brings us to our next section. The world's way, the normal, the obvious, the conventional approach to fixing things.
Yeah, this slide looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? The source lists out all the usual suspects, and you can see them right here. Boro Plus, Vaseline, lipstick, chapstick, and look, the logic is incredibly simple. My lips hurt, so I'm going to put something on my lips. We're treating the problem exactly where we see it. And on the surface, that makes total sense.
But what if that obvious surface-level thinking is exactly what's holding us back? This is where things get interesting. Let's move on to section 3, a different thought. And yeah, we're about to take a pretty sharp turn off the beaten path.
And this just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got the world's way, treatment on the lips. But on the right, a totally different idea, treatment in the navel. Yes, the navel. I know, it sounds crazy, but in many traditional wellness systems, like Ayurveda, the navel is seen as this vital center that's connected to everything else in your body. So while it seems illogical to us, it's actually based on a completely different way of understanding the problem.
Of course, when you try something this different, you're going to get some weird looks. The source just nails the world's reaction with this quote, which basically means, where's it chapped and where are you applying it? You can just hear the sarcasm, right? People think you're nuts, that you don't even understand the problem. You're getting laughed at for not following the obvious path.
But what if the person who looks crazy is the one who actually gets the problem on a much, much deeper level? This is the whole idea behind our next section, striking the root. See, they're not focused on the symptom at all. They're going straight for the source.
And this is the whole point. This is the big aha moment of the entire story. The quote says, "He is striking where the results will be successful." Just think about that for a second. He knows the problem isn't really the lips themselves. It's some deeper imbalance. And by going after that core issue, he gets a lasting result, not just a temporary patch. He's not just playing the game, he's changing it entirely.
So that brings us to the core principle of this whole thing. We're not really talking about lips anymore, are we? We're talking about a universal truth. You have to address the root cause, not just the symptom you can see. And the most powerful, lasting solutions? They often come from the places you'd least expect.
Okay, so why does any of this matter to you? That brings us to our final section, the bigger lesson. Let's step away from chapped lips for a minute and turn this story into a practical tool that you can actually use every single day to solve real problems.
We can actually boil this whole story down into a super simple 3-step process. First, identify the symptom. That's the easy part. That's the chapped lips in your life, the obvious surface-level problem that's getting all your attention. Step 2, find the root cause. Okay, this is the hard part. This means you have to stop staring at the lips and ask, where is this really coming from? You've got to dig deeper to find the navel. And finally, step 3, work on the root. Have the courage to put your energy there, on the navel, even if it looks weird to everybody else and doesn't give you that instant visible fix. And that brings us to our final thought. I want you to think about this. What are the chapped lips in your life? What are those nagging, recurring problems that you just keep slapping temporary fixes on? A recurring argument, a lack of motivation, that feeling of being stuck. Maybe the real solution isn't where you've been looking. Maybe it's time to find the navel.